and the power of movement. And we have a Flo joining us, who's a yoga instructor, a trauma-sensitive yoga facilitator, and the Big Brother Africa 2023 yoga instructor. Flo, let's flow together. How are you?
Grateful to be alive and grateful to be here. Thank you for having me.
It's you having this interview on your yoga mat. I mean, eat. Like
I literally just practiced.
Like it's too early for breakfast, girl, but you eating, okay? You're already eating it.
I even have my cup of tea here, so I'm ready to go.
Let's go. So, I mean, you speak about being gentle with yourself, which I think is probably insane because we realize how hard we are on ourselves. And, I don't think we would be hanging around people that were as hard on us as we are on us. So talk to us about that, because I feel like that's where really the power of movement stems from.
Mm-hmm. So I think people are always just there for everyone, and they're always pouring into everyone's cup, but their own. I don't know why. I don't know if it's growing up that way, but we've always felt the need to serve other people but ourselves. So being gentle with yourself is, yes, you can pour into others, but don't forget yourself. Don't forget to pour into yourself. Don't forget to be gentle with yourself when things don't go well. Just be kind to yourself and love in yourself just as much as you love the people around you.
And when did your journey with yoga now begin?
My journey with yoga began 7 years ago, I think. Yeah. So it started from my own internal struggles. And at that time, I felt so disconnected from myself. And I knew I needed a practice to help me return back home to myself, because I was just struggling mentally, and I knew this is not who I want to be. This is not where I want to be, so I need to take care of myself, basically.
Yeah. And now how does yoga go from being an activity, that people do as almost a pastime to now being a trauma-sensitive yoga? How did it kind of stem into mental health?
So trauma-sensitive yoga is basically for trauma survivors, right? And I feel like most of us, if not all of us, have been through some sort of trauma. I mean, the pandemic was a trauma, So trauma-sensitive yoga is meant to be less triggering for trauma survivors. Because yes, you can go to therapy and talk about your problems, but that's not like something that works for everybody. Some people don't want to talk about it. So with trauma-sensitive yoga, we provide tools to regulate your emotions without you having to relive whatever that you've been through. But you can still release that trauma from your body. You can still release that tension, whatever physical disease, without having to relive it, without having to talk about it. So trauma-sensitive yoga is meant to be a safe space for people who, yes, I want to heal, but I don't want to have to go to talk about what I went through, because for me, it takes me back, and that doesn't work for everybody, basically.
So tell me, is it true that our body secretly deposits the pain that we've been through in our lives and the events that we've been through in our lives? And how does now movement kind of support that? Because I think a lot of people associate yoga with its affiliation to spirituality, therefore it not being as religious as we want it to be. And look, these are facts. People are naturally very, they're afraid of what they don't know. So how do we now bring yoga as an activity to assist, trauma, as opposed to it being a ritualistic, religious, spiritual activity?
Okay, so I will say, in order for you to regulate your emotions or to regulate whatever that's happening in your body, you need to recognize it first, right? So trauma is stored in our body, trauma is stored in different areas of our body depending on what trauma you have. So it can be stored in the feet, it can be stored in the lower abdomen, it can be stored in the upper abdomen, it can be stored in your head. That's why people have migraines, digestive issues, lower back issues, and. So trauma does come from our body. It's what we carry from the past or even the present, grief, things like that. So trauma is in our body. That's why our mind and our body are one. They cannot be separated. So whatever that you go through physically, you'll go through mentally. Whatever that you go through mentally, you'll go through physically. And about the spiritual path or religious path, yoga is really what you want it to be. I don't like being political when it comes to yoga. I feel like it's what you want it to be. It's your own journey. It's your own personal experience. I hope that
it does. Yeah. It does. So talk to us. I mean, what does it entail now, the trauma sensitive yoga? What does it look like when I come to you requesting that specific type of yoga? What does that look like from your context?
Okay. So trauma sensitive yoga, like the core of trauma sensitive yoga is a safe space and an empowering space. And why we feel like it has to be empowering is because trauma survivors normally don't have a choice. So we want to make them feel safe enough to say, no, I don't want to do this, or yes, I will do this. So it's more invitational. So we will invite you to do things, but it's not you have to do things, as opposed to your yoga, where all the postures. So we are also very mindful of the postures because there are certain yoga poses that are very triggering to trauma survivors. So we are mindful of the yoga poses. We are mindful of the space. We are mindful of the senses, the smell of the space, because some incense can be triggering to some trauma survivors. Your essential oils can be triggering, the lighting can be triggering. There's so many things that can be triggering. So we're very mindful of the type of space, how we teach, how we communicate, all of these things, we pay attention to them.
That's very cognizant, though. What happens when you find that there's certain things that you want to do with a patient, but everything is triggering? How do you navigate those situations?
Do you know what? That's a very good question. We'll never know. But I think for us, the things that we have learned through teaching other people, we just take that in, right? So yes, many things can be triggering, but you'll never know everything that's triggering. All you can do is your best. So we just take from what we've studied, from what we've learned, and we do the best we can with each client.
And where can we find you guys? I mean, I can imagine, in fact, before I even ask that, I want to find out in our day-to-day, what is the thing that we can do to kind of bring us closer to ourselves? Like, I know that I try to stretch my hands as much. First thing when we wake up, just stretch your hands. But what are some of the things that we can do to kind of bring us closer to our point of self-care?
Okay. So things that you can do, number one, when you wake up, stay away from your phone. That's the first thing.
Girl, you're going to run to them families now.
No. This one is very important. This one is and make it intentional, right? So I believe in taking care of your inner world before you let the outside world in, right? So take care of your inner world, and with taking care of yourself, do something that you enjoy. Do something that brings you joy. So it could be stretching your body, which is so important because you're releasing tension, you're releasing stuck energy, you're releasing all these heaviness that you carry through your everyday life. Meditate if you want to focus your mind, calm your mind, regulate your nervous system. Take a walk. It could be outside your yard. It could be wherever, but just take a walk for 10 minutes. It doesn't even have to be long. Take a walk, stretch your muscles. And also for the people who are like, it's cold. I don't feel like I want to practice yoga, or I don't feel like I want to exercise. You can even exercise on your bed. You can practice yoga on your bed. So I don't think there's any excuse to returning home to yourself. All those things allow you to return home to yourself, and you're able to be present with yourself, which I feel like the most important thing is you're present with your mind, your body, and your spirit.
This is absolutely amazing. Where can we find you guys?
Flow Yoga on Instagram. So it's flow_yoga_.
Amazing stuff. Thank you so much for joining us today. We look forward to people coming home to themselves. I think that's it's a very profound statement, coming home to yourself. We look forward to it, and to many more bookings.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. That was Flo, who's a yoga instructor, trauma-sensitive yoga facilitator, and the Big Brother Africa 2023 yoga instructor coming through there. Amazing stuff. Coming home to yourself. That looks like you, handling your trauma. And yoga is a beautiful activity. It's a beautiful way of doing it. Let me know how you're going to be, coming home to yourself. On +276 3406 9126.
The River of Wisdom on the Oasis.